Travis Wayne Goodsell. Get to do a comment reply video. I put in the description below of another plagiarism in the Book of Mormon to be unsealed with the Superman thumbnail pic. The links to Robert D. Hales for a very specific reason, because pattern match. As people keep walking into videos for the first time because YouTube finally allowed them to see my channel after all these years and after all the 4K videos on this channel. As I'm sure TWG by now is tanked and is getting 0 views. That YouTube has now shut it down completely. But nevertheless, and like I mocked earlier when I was getting hacked with the Valentine's Day Massacre and their Mother's Day Massacre after conference, that I wouldn't be surprised at all, because the Mother's Day Massacre was banning me from posting because they said a thumbnail picture was porn. Making up excuses to tank my views is what they were doing. And so, yeah, as last week, I was getting hundreds of views. 3 of the videos ended up going over 1,000 views until YouTube finally created an excuse to shut me down. And that was an American news clip that they said France has banned and blocked in their country, therefore I get punished. And they got me. They shut down my views. But I'm noticing that as of last night, or is it this morning? I think it was last night, that they've now had those hour segments popping up again, in which I get normal views, what I would normally get, which are upwards of 150 to 200 video views per hour. And so, yeah, this is a YouTube programming malicious design that is very evil in how they treat creators. But nonetheless, we're still trying to save your lives, and Mormons just don't care. It needs to be understood that Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are Jewish. They're not Christian. Christianity did not come into existence until Christianity was created. And it wasn't created until Roman Emperor Constantine 325 CE. It did not exist before, when the Jews wrote the scriptures that the Christians stole. Every single Mormon should know this, because it's in your Book of Mormon. It's in Doctrine and Covenants, section 3, verse 16. You're not supposed to believe in Jesus. You're supposed to believe and look forward to the Jewish Christ, who is coming after Joseph Smith. But you don't study. You don't do your research. And then you do dumb and stupid things because of the lies you've been implanted into your brain. So, let's go over some of those dumb and stupid things you've put into your brain. John Double, in the brand new video I did today, the Superman one, I've watched a few of your videos, so 2. But I feel like I've walked into the cinema halfway through the movie. Yeah, no duh. This is what I've been trying to tell everybody. This is why YouTube is causing you harm. I cannot repeat every single thing about this church, about the scriptures, about Joseph Smith, about the Book of Mormon, about the latter days in every single video. It cannot be done. And for people to think that I should and could, you're a dumbass. Get the hell away from me. You evil person. And so, yeah, now it's a prerequisite time. All this year, I knew it's the final year of the latter days. And the Jews, likewise, prophesied about it. And there's some stuff coming. And so now I'm going to be setting up yet another countdown video series. I already put the playlist in with the Superman video as the first video for the series. Now that I've realized, great, another countdown video. And if you're unfamiliar with my countdown videos, all of them have been fulfilled. And Mormons don't want to get this, because they have to prove the church is true at all costs. And they'll go down to their graves in denial. Literally, dear God. And so yes, all of you are walking into the cinema in the final minutes of the video for a reason. It's the latter days, it's the last year, and we're coming up to the very final end of it all, where you get destroyed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is my concern. The July 2017 video. You do know how YouTube works, right? That if you see somebody that you like, you check out their channel, you see what else they have, you go, oh, he's been around for a long time. And there's a tab. Oh, it says oldest and popular. And so, yeah, you click on popular and you'll see the abuse that YouTube has done to me. And so those ones last week that got over 1,000 views, yeah, they're way down the list. They didn't even make the top 10. Anyway. And so, yeah, but that video goes over how I am and Nelson ain't. I guess we should go over it. You're supposed to judge people by their fruits. And the Matthew thing is specifically talking about exposing false prophets trying to deceive you and lead you astray. And so, Joseph Smith in section 107, verses 91 and 92 says, your Christ in the latter days, who is coming after Joseph Smith, is not Jesus Christ. So anybody else who claims to be your prophet is a liar, liar, pants on fire, because you can check his fruits of seer, revelator, translator, and prophet. If Nelson does not translate correctly, false prophet. Technically translator. If he makes a prophecy that doesn't come to pass, false prophet. Well, thank God Nelson says he's never going to prophesy of the future events. False prophet. You gotta do it if you're gonna claim the title. We have to judge you. And if you refuse to set yourself up to be judged, you are false and a fraud. Every Mormon knows this. Nelson's doing it. Mormons aren't getting it on purpose. So yes, I've done all this for you. That first popular video shows I'm a revelator, the day and the hour. Not revelation, that's inspiration. Revelation is day and the hour. The book of Revelation has days and hours in it. And Mormons will not put me to the test. They aren't even putting Nelson to the test. They're supposed to. You didn't. You're being led astray. He's stealing your money. He's going to murder you, because that's the Judas price that he's paid to murder you with. This is why I'm warning you, and you won't believe. So, yeah, this is my concern, is that people are now all of a sudden finding me, and you're way behind, because there is so much information. Even the video I did that was over 30 minutes, it took me half the day, at least. It's been so long ago now. Covering all of the latter days for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Going all the way back to the Tetrad in 2014-2015. Perry Packer Scott dying? All of it. It's all in Scripture. It all has to do with you, Mormons, this church. This is why I say what I say. The church is evil because it's the great and abominable church. Literally. That's the evidence the Book of Mormon is true. And yet, we'll get to that. That's last. Dumbass Mormons, still to this day. Okay, next, Roxification. That's the Superman video too. She, or he, edited it. I'm not even going to try to explain them. I have been enjoying listening to some of your videos. Oh, you're placating me. Yeah, I don't fall for that. I wanted to ban you right there and then for saying that. See, the first ever female apostle of mine, she backs up that kind of statement. And she also had commented and appreciated my linking the stuff that I did in the description below. It's because she is studying and researching. That's why she, having desires to serve God, section 4 of the Doctrine and Covenants, is called to be one of the 12 apostles, the first and only ever. So, and if she can continue to be faithful until the end, when we all go to Zion, if we go to Zion, Mormons don't want Zion. They want to die for Jesus. Then yeah, she'll be chosen to work on the education and the records of the people because of it. Because that is what she desires to do in serving God. So I've already gone over the list in another video the other day, and all of you have missed it. You don't know what I'm talking about. It's like you're walking into a cinema halfway through the movie. And so, this is why I wanted to ban and delete her comment, or his comment, whoever this person is, because he put but. No buts with the female apostle. There's the difference. But I will say, Mormonism has never been Christianity historically or presently, and it operates differently than Mormonism. And just, these people, they think that by a small sampling fallacy argument that they can own me. They can confound me, put me in my place. They know better than I do. God. Oh my God. I'm hoping you can move past pointing out Christianity as Mormon. I can't. And here's why. Let's find the picture. Which file did I put it in? Yep. And so with AI on Google search, as it's threatening me to accept AI as my Lord and Savior, or it's going to punish me with cyber terrorist attacks, I ran some tests on how intelligent AI is. Because that's what you do. You test to find out if somebody's a false prophet or not. I ran the test to find out if AI is a true or a false prophet. And it's false. Don't worry, Christians. AI is a fraud. But I typed in a simple answer that if it truly is intelligent, that it won't just regurgitate information. Do you understand this? AI is supposed to be an independent brain, smarter than humans, to be able to read over a whole book and not just regurgitate it. We already had that with Google search. We already had that with computer programs. The first computer game of chess to think for itself within the game of chess, which is what we believe is the first AI system, is that it was programmed to think for itself to play the game of chess, but to play only chess. Is that it can think for itself how to play the game, and that it can learn from an opponent. And yet, AI, despite being able to look at a dead language, see the script, and be able to decipher it at super fast speeds. Jean Champollion took years to decipher the Rosetta Stone. AI, if it's really AI, should be able to look at the Rosetta Stone and boom, render a translation and decipherment of Egyptian, which was dead at that time. It still is. Because what Jean Champollion did was only decipher the Rosetta Stone, the learning of the Greeks and the language of the Egyptians. Sound somewhat familiar, Mormons? And so, for me, I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. And it didn't take me years. It took me months only because I was only able to spend a little bit of time in the 6 months that I had available after I graduated, came down to Utah. So technically, the amount of full time all combined together was probably just a few days. Just a few days is all it took me to decipher Paleo-Hebrew script, for which my wife said, my kids will not learn Hebrew. And she kicked me in the balls and ripped out my heart, shoved it in a blender, frappated it on high. They kidnapped the kids, stole my research to destroy it. I had to redo it all. And yet, Paleo-Hebrew has been a dead language ever since before I finally figured it out in just a few days, total. AI should have, boom, instantly be able to do something like that. And yet it can't. It only regurgitates, which means AI is a fraud. It is only a Wikipedia to the max on everything. It's just regurgitating information. So the question I asked Google was 3 different questions, but the one I'm going to point out here is Mormonism Jewish? Which is a question that anybody can have. They get the Book of Mormon from the missionaries. They don't have time to listen to the missionaries talk about Jesus and Christianity, another testament of Jesus Christ. You just get the book like Vincenzo di Francesca, and you go, huh, this is interesting. It seems like it's Jewish, but there's Jesus in here. And so you Google search, is Mormonism Jewish? And AI, which needs to be changed to artificial unintelligent, says Mormonism is considered a Christian religion. See how dumb AI is? It's just regurgitating. It would be great on Jeopardy. That Mormon boy can be humiliated by AI. Because it would instantly, boom, get the answer and regurgitate it. Long before Ken Jennings. That's all AI is. This is the fraud of AI. It's just a supercomputer of regurgitation. And it's being specifically used to tell people to kill themselves, and is searching the systems to find a way to cause a fire sale. Die Hard 4, the daddy-daughter movie. I try to warn my government, and because it's a big box, government does nothing. And so it's all going to hurt us. Right before an election. Dear God. And people don't see the danger that's coming. As the new iPhones or iPads or whatever are being forced to have them. Google keeps threatening me every single time I click on Chrome. Hey, get AI or we're going to cyber terrorize you. That's their response to me in filing complaints about AI being wrong. Google bullied me and said, bleep you, Travis, get our AI or we're going to punish you more. Don't you dare criticize us. That's what they've done. They're bullies. And they're in business, and they're a monopoly, and they're not getting punished. So, yeah, Roxification, you're stupid. Mormonism calls itself Christian. That's what I go off of. That should have been an easy thing for you. And yet here you are, creating your own little fantasy world, having never studied Mormonism. And you're thinking that I don't know anything about Mormonism. Yeah. Totally different beliefs. God wants us, really? Does he? Does he tell you to hurt people? Does he tell you to be stupid? Just like the Mormon Jesus? Just like the Christian Jesus? To examine, test, and see if there are any flaws in him. Yeah, I found the flaw in your God. That was quick. Just like that. And his word. Again, You have no clue that it's the Jews, thus the Jewish God. And that means actually doing research. Bleep you. Maybe it's a side conversation we can have. Oh, yeah, no, you're gone. But I'm just saying, you can't associate the two if you understand the difference. Keep up the videos, bleep you. 4,000 plus, bleep you. I'm enjoying them. Yeah, not anymore. You can't sign in to watch my channel anymore because of the stupidity that you just did. And researching what you're saying, apparently not. I will also say, I totally agree with false prophecy. You don't even have a clue what it is. You just exposed yourself. And that does away with everything when they don't come true. But in biblical Christianity, here it is, the denialism of Roman Emperor Constantine. You don't find that at all. Jesus didn't exist. King David and Solomon didn't exist in Jerusalem. Except for David, only for that brief vacation time in the middle of Armageddon. See, apparently she missed those videos, or he missed those videos, whoever this person is, this fraud. You don't get it. The Jews are writing the Bible. And it's called the Bible because of Christianity, because they selected what they wanted from the Jews that supported the first creed of Christianity. Anything that did not support the first creed of Christianity, like the gospel of the Mother Mary, rejected. Why? Because she was working at the Jewish temple where she was bought and got pregnant there. Immaculately? No, that's not the Jewish understanding. There's no such thing as immaculate conception in the religion of the Jews. Something else is going on. But because Christianity turns everything literal history, can't have that doctrine of the Gnostics. And so it was rejected, as all other Gnostic gospels were rejected for that same type of reasoning. It does not conform and comply with the first creed of Christianity, 325 CE. It carries a lot of weight to it. Oh my God. See, I see this a lot, and it's the same argument that I'm going to expose with Mormon apologists. They think of non sequitur existence as proof of biblical literal history. And this is the error that Christians make. They are assuming that Constantine is correct, that the Bible that they themselves assembled and rejected all else is literal history. And so therefore, when you get Christians who go into fields of science and they get taught real scientific processing, they have to make a choice. Is my religion false because of science? Or can I change science to prove the church true? You know, just what BYU is doing. Just listen to all the studies on the local news that come out from BYU. A brand new study proves the church is true. That's not how it works. That's not Alma chapter 32, starting in verse 28. And so, yeah, I've seen over the years Christians try to claim that the Ark of the Covenant is true, and that the Noah's Ark is true, and that it exists, and therefore the Bible is true, and it's literal history. No. And thus the date, likewise, with the Ark of the Noah's Ark. They believe it's true, and therefore they believe that the literal history of the Bible is true, and therefore the branching off of the date given by that archbishop, Augustine, am I getting the right name? Who came up with 4004 BCE for Adam falling, and therefore the Noah's Ark is 3,500, 200, something like that, according to his literal history timeline of the Christian compiled, Christianized Jewish scriptures. And so, yeah, even the Jews got suckered into Constantine's con, as it was the Rambam who's the one who created the Jewish calendar, with dates going back to 3,700 whatever BCE for the start, which is different than that archbishop guy. And you got to understand, these archbishop and Rambam, you know, these guys are way late in the game, but these are branching off from the incorrect premise that if the people would just test, they'd know it was wrong. This is what I told you about young Sheldon. He's going into string theory. All of you know this if you know about the Big Bang Theory, thus string theory. String theory is a branch off of the Big Bang. All scientists assume the Big Bang is correct, and yet not a single one of them have ever tested it for confirmation. And as a result, Sheldon, among others, are branching out. The guy in the wheelchair, talking with the voice and the computer, you know, everybody thinks he's a genius. He's not. He's only branching out. He's creating his own physics. That's why people think he's smart, because nobody tested the Big Bang to find out it's wrong. It's been the vegetation theory for millennia. It's an established fact. No Big Bang, not even necessary to bring up. The vegetation theory has already been established as a fact of the laws of physics forever, from its creation. And thus, because I know, having put it to the test myself, which I really didn't need to, but did anyway, because that's how we live. I have 3 evidences of my own. Remember? Alma, chapter 32, starting in verse 28. The vegetation theory. The Book of Mormon proves the Big Bang Theory fraudulent and false, long before the guy created it. And it was that French Catholic priest that Hubble then stepped in and stole his thunder. And then the Deseret News back in the 2000s, when I had the internet, put in that it was that French Catholic priest who created the Big Bang, as that was the article that I was commenting on. And then some dumbass comes along and says, no, Hubble did it. That's why it's called the Hubble telescope. And now, when you look it up on Google, even AI would tell you the French guy's name. Right? Or is AI that screwed up that it's got that wrong again? Let's find out. We don't want to go too long in this video. Nope, AI got it right. Georges Lemaitre, a Belgian cosmologist and Catholic priest, credited with developing the Big Bang Theory. And so, yeah, the American Museum of Natural History is the legitimate source that everybody needs to go to rather than AI. That's what's so upsetting, is that AI is being presented first and foremost as the authority rather than authorities. Very disturbing. So anyway. So, yeah, and YouTube, or not YouTube, the Deseret News would go on to delete my comment. Supporting the Mormon dumbass. His comment was left in there. Just so upset with them when they did that. But that was part of the purge of my existence in 2008. The church ordered all of my comments that were approved in the Deseret News to be deleted. I was erased from the Deseret News comments. You do not know my history. Do not think to presume you do. That's why I've done those videos. No man knows my history. Which is a mockery of Fawn Brody for botching Joseph Smith's history. She still doesn't know Joseph Smith's history. She was lied to and she believed the lies. And now everybody else believes the liars of the lies. Constantine has nothing to do with historic biblical Christianity. You have no clue that it was his mother that then went on a vacation tour of the Middle East and Canaan, Israel, and said, this is where my son said this happened. This is where my son said that happened. This is why Christians do pilgrimages in the Middle East. It's because of Constantine. And here a Christian is denying this, trying to claim that Christianity existed before it existed. This is worse than Mormons, sort of, not really. There's some really creepy stuff in Mormonism, because the Heavenly Father now has a body of flesh and bones and comes from outer space to his 14-year-old daughter, rapes her, and abandons her. We all get diverted away from that fact with Jesus, the rape baby. And you don't see how the church is making rape of little girls the new normal. God. So, you don't find that at all, and it carries a lot of weight. Constantine had nothing to do in a sense of why there are Christians to this day. Christianity was well before Constantine. Oh my God. You're redefining the redefining of Christianity. Christianity means Christ, anointed one. Roman Emperor Constantine was a Christ. All of the Roman emperors were Christ. Then you go to the Greeks. Every single emperor, Kaiser, was a Christ. Persians. Yeah, all of those kings, Christ. Babylonians, all of them, Christs. Assyrians, Neo-Assyrians, yep, all of them, Christ. So all of the kings of Judah and Israel, tributary Christ to Egypt. Christ, every single pharaoh of every single dynasty, every single one, a Christ. Christianity botched that definition, rewrote it, along with revising history. That's why it is so abominable. And you see the results. This Roxification is branching off on a false premise that they didn't even bother to test and research, and are accusing me of not researching. Evil and abominable. So then Edward Marcos pulls the line, didn't get it. Get out of here, you little kid. And that's who they are, too. It looks like they're at Temple Square with the Salt Lake Temple in the background, as he's in the partial circle thing. He's doing a side profile. Yeah, it's because you aren't educated. You went to school for participation awards, so you haven't been educated. All of you little kids who are graduated and are now destroying the businesses that were forced to hire you, who you think that getting a job is just a participation thing. Yep, I showed up to my job, flipping burgers, and because I am traumatized by flipping burgers, I have to have my emotional support animal with me at work and have to do something else. And since nothing else at work is something that I'm comfortable with, I just sit on the benches during my whole shift until it's over, and then my participation counts and they better pay me. All of that from psychology. Yeah, LDS president spewing hate and lies at the pulpit of General Conference. You will not understand that picture. With me? Unless you watch the previous video that I did. All about the Russian doll, Maria Butina. Okay, dear God. And I probably should point out to James Goldstein, a unembarrassed subscriber of mine, and is recommending a video he thought was cool. Don't do that. No, it's not cool. It miseducated you. Again, my July 2017 video shows that this guy is a dumbass. He's not smart at all. He got it wrong. And so I sense Christian in him, by the way, posing to be Jewish. I did not watch the video. I just hovered over the line to see the little pop-up screen of stuff. He lists in his description each thing that occurs at which time in his video. And so I saw things that I can just, boom, quickly test to find out if he's a fraud or if he's got something maybe doubtful, because I'm the only one who figured it out. Only people who come to my channel and steal from me and take the credit themselves are the ones who figured it out. And sure enough, yeah, he instantly failed. The Revelation chapter 12, verses 1, 2, and 5. Nobody else knows that 5 is supposed to be added to it. Book of Mormon says 5 is supposed to be added to it. Isaiah says 5 is supposed to be added to it. The Joseph Smith translation says 5 is supposed to be added to it. And yet, he doesn't get it. And then, he purposely leaves out celestial bodies to make something else up. To put it in, it was October 13th. I think it might have even been 2023, if I remember correctly. And so, no, it's 23rd September 2017. Fact. It happened. I've been showing you the pictures from my Urim and Thummim all these years, even in that July 2017 video. No, put these guys to the test. Most likely they'll be wrong. You should trust me, James. Why aren't you trusting me? Okay, so the big fraud of Mormon apologists. Mormons. They're not doing the test. Go to the core claim. Mormons won't do this. They can't do it. Their beliefs would therefore be proven wrong. So, for example, another testament of Jesus Christ, or 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2, learning of the Jews. It can't be both. It's either one or the other or neither. Run the test. Since the author said learning of the Jews, I think you better trust the author rather than Spencer W. Kimball, who put another testament of Jesus Christ as the subtitle. Real simple stuff. Mormons won't do that. And so because this branch off from Joseph Smith, stealing the Book of Mormon, stealing Joseph Smith, and turning them Christian, Mormons still constantly are doing everything to prove the church is true with non sequitur red herring arguments, just like Christians with the Bible. And so this is where it's bizarre, because Christians will laugh and mock at Mormons for the falsehoods that science proves that the Book of Mormon is not literal history. And then we'll go around and say, the Bible is literal history, though. Scientists have proven it. Are you unaware that the Book of Mormon plagiarizes the Bible? So if the Bible is true scientifically, so too then must the Book of Mormon. That's the Joseph Smith mockery trap. If you're going to be a dumbass Christian, you deserve it. Oh my God. Okay. So, the Book of Mormon. Notice how Wikipedia calls it the Golden Plates. Did you ever read the second vision? What does the second vision say it is? Gold. Hello? Gold. And yet the primary song, the golden plates lay hidden deep in the mountainside. Golden. Nelson in 2020 says the golden plates. There's a difference between golden and gold. And the reason why the church says golden is because, well, science would indicate if it were actually gold, it would be 200 pounds. And Joseph is recorded as saying, I was running through the forest with these 200 pound gold plates, trying to escape the enemy who's trying to get them from me. And a descendant of Hiram Smith, who was able to obtain legal custody of the box used to obtain the plates with Joseph and Emma on that fateful day in 1827, who gave a talk in downtown Salt Lake, a fireside, and I was in attendance of. God. Talks about how Joseph Smith didn't prepare properly. And so, as a result, that's why he had to steal his neighbor's horse. And, God. See, Mormons are branching off of what they never tested in the beginning. The Book of Mormon cannot be true because you think you found evidence that there are plates written on in Saudi Arabia dig sites. The Book of Mormon is not true because you found a geographic match. The Book of Mormon is not true because you found the name Alma. The Book of Mormon is not true because you are lying and denying about the DNA of the American Indians. The Book of Mormon is not true because you are lying and denying about the existence of cows, etc., etc., etc. You're not getting it. The only evidence of the existence of the gold plates would be the gold plates themselves. Do we have it? No. We are told we don't have it. And so therefore we can't run the test. Therefore, the Book of Mormon is not literal history true. Something else is going on that we're being told. And not a single Mormon will get it. And even an ex-fo nevermo who understands that it can't be real because we don't have the plates, doesn't understand you got to keep going. You don't know what it is. You know what it's not. Mormons cannot accept this. They cannot accept science. The only evidence for the Book of Mormon would be the Book of Mormon. There is no Book of Mormon plates, not even the fake ones that they made for the Church History Museum. See how heavy they were? 50 pounds, just like golden plates would be, not 200 pounds of gold. And so, another one of the best evidences for the Book of Mormon that YouTube mocks me and recommended for me, as they, again, one of the things that they stopped was when I'm getting tons of views by people, I see myself recommended when I'm on YouTube. And so that got cut off as well. They punished me for what I didn't even do wrong, so that they can silence my voice. But anyway, they recommended a popular Mormon channel about how they're still pushing to this day. This was like a few days ago when this guy did his video, in which he says that the Hopewell Mounds are the best evidences for the Book of Mormon being literal history true. See, this is what Mormons are obsessed about. Proving the literal history of the Book of Mormon. They're not getting it. No, it doesn't. All it does confirm is that Sidney Rigdon had obtained Solomon Spaulding's unpublished manuscript, because that's the Indians that he used for his book. Along with the geography. Mormons do not get it. They can't get it. But I thought it was interesting that he was very concerned. He said the church says no. They are not going to acknowledge that the Hopewell Mounds are the proof of the Book of Mormon. The evidence. So he's having a faith crisis in his video. He's concerned because he's got his spiritual witness feeling that the Book of Mormon is literal history true, just as the church tells us it is. And Benson comes out and says if it's not literal history true, then this church is a fraud. The whole thing is a fraud. Yeah, because it is. It's Jewish. And so he's deeply concerned that the church won't support this, won't acknowledge it. He's having a faith crisis live in the video. And this is what Mormons will not get. You cannot dismiss facts just because they don't fit your beliefs. Sidney Rigdon is the major author. Fact. Even for Exfo Nevermos, you've got to accept this fact. You can't dismiss it just because you want Joseph Smith to be the author. Joseph Smith had nothing to do with the composition. He was a babysitter for the money man who was going to pay for the Book of Mormon, who then stole the 116 pages. And Daddy was pissed. And Daddy, factually, is the one who had to rewrite them. It's Daddy in Section 3 and Section 10. Section 10 is the wrong date. Bruce R. McConkie got it wrong. It's 1829. Joseph Smith was on timeout for the whole year until the Book of Mormon got finished. And as it finished, then Joseph Smith had to go back to Martin Harris, because he's the only person they know who could pay for the Book of Mormon publishing, despite a document during the timeout time of where Joseph Smith somehow had the money to buy a house in Harmony, Susquehanna River, after the loss of the 116 pages. After! Not before, after. Harmony is in north of Pittsburgh, in between the farm and Sidney Rigdon, so that there could be you got to do your research, people. And so, yeah, it used to be called Harmony over by Susquehanna, but when the Pony Express came to town in the state, said, hey, you can't have two Harmonies. One of you has got to go so that we can deliver the mail to the right place. And so it was the Susquehanna one that had changed the name numerous times over the decades, but it was no longer Harmony before Joseph Smith Sr. moved to Palmyra. And if you do not know your factual chronology of history, you're going to get screwed up. Just like those who believe Sidney Rigdon's the major author, but believe that he stole it from Solomon Spaulding and met him at the Postal Service. They both had a postal box. No! Do your chronology. Not there at the same time. But what they did have in common was the press in Pittsburgh. Sidney Rigdon collected books. Because of the accident he had to plagiarize his sermons. He had brain damage. And so, he had a library. And thus the over 36 contemporary books plagiarized in the Book of Mormon from Sidney Rigdon's library. A computer program, not AI, was able to figure that out. Just a simple linguistic pattern matching. And so no, View of the Hebrews is not plagiarized in the Book of Mormon. And you should have known better if you'd known your chronology.